Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my goodness. Adam Driver says no more Kylo Ren after all we've done over the last couple weeks is speculate about the possibility of seeing Ben Solo in the Rey movie. We're going to talk about all of it. We also have some other news regarding what's coming in 2024 for Star Wars. This is the last stream of the year for the people who love Star Wars. So let's dive into all of this. Wow. How we doing, everybody? What's up? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. How we doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? How's everybody doing today? Have you smashed a like on this stream yet? I know, I just put that poll up, but that's okay. We'll leave it up for a little while so that people know what's up. What the heck? Why did that happen? Let me open up the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about. Jay, what's up, Jay? How we doing? Andrew, what's up, Andrew? How you doing? Let's talk about this Adam Driver stuff, okay? So Adam Driver has been going on tons of podcasts and talk shows and interviews and all this stuff because he's wanted to, well, he was in a movie called Ferrari and he wanted to, of course, get that movie out there. But he's been talking a lot about Star Wars lately after, like, Rise of Skywalker came out 4 years ago. And in those 4 years, Adam Driver has talked about Star Wars maybe once. And now it's become more of a consistent thing when it comes to him and his interviews on these talk shows and podcasts where he's talking about Star Wars almost every single time. So now that he's going around trying to promote this movie, Ferrari, which I haven't seen yet, and I wonder if any of you guys have, but he's now trying to promote this movie, and everybody's asking him about Star Wars because the next Star Wars movie is going to be the Rey movie, and a lot of fans are like, I'm not going to see that movie unless Adam Driver's involved. It says no data. Are we good? What's up, Honey Badger? How we doing? Is the stream good? Are we still live? What the hell's going on there? Fearless, what's up, Fearless? How we doing? It says no data over there. I don't know what's going on, but I think we're good. We'll figure it out. Oh, excellent connection. Perfect. Okay. Honey Badger says, what a year for this channel. Hashtag the people who love Star Wars. Hashtag premier people. Hashtag a guy who loves Star Wars is that guy. Yeah, it was quite the year for this channel. We'll kind of go over some stuff about the channel in the back half of the show. I thought it was quite a year for the channel, to say the least. We're up 100 subscribers over the last 12 hours, which is absolutely insane to me. Our goal was to get to 3,000 before the end of the year. We reached that, and then it was 4,000. We reached that, and then as a joke, I was like, let's get to 5,000, and you guys took it really seriously because we're almost getting very close to 5,000. Now, we probably won't make it because the end of the year is near, but we gave it a valiant effort, that's for sure. I cannot appreciate you guys enough. We got 10 people in this chat right now. Can we please all smash a freaking like on this video? Thank you very much. It's me says, who will be the antagonist of the new Rey film? That's a good question. I still don't know. We don't. I would hope that it would be Abeloth, just because they set her up so perfectly in the Ahsoka series, and it would be an incredible villain for a future Star Wars film. Abeloth would be a great one. I just made that video yesterday about a possible Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 and in introducing Asherad Het, or better known as Darth Krayt, who would be an incredible villain for a Rey movie as well, because Darth Krayt is such a cool villain and could probably beat up Rey. I really don't know. You could go all the way back to the rumors of, what the hell's the actor's name? He's Charles Miner in The Office. Somebody help me out. What the hell's the guy's name? The actor, he plays Heimdall, I think. No, that's a different guy. No, it's the same guy, right? The hell's this guy's name? What's the actor's name who was rumored to be the bad guy in the Rey movie? This was, like 6 months ago. What is his name? Somebody in the chat knows what I'm talking about. Come on. Any Office fans out there? Charles Miner? Idris Elba. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, Idris Elba, about 6 months ago, was rumored to be in the Rey movie. Now, that could have just been made up completely because there was no script fully ready, or it could just be something else. Yes, thanks, Idris Elba. Yes. So it could be him. It could be Abeloth. It could be Darth Krayt. It could be anybody. It could be a brand new character that we don't even know about yet. But there does have to be a pretty damn cool bad guy of this movie because not a lot of people are excited about the Rey movie. Let's be honest, they aren't. A lot of fans are extremely disappointed that the next Star Wars film is going to be a Rey movie. So the villain is going to have to be some top tier shit. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Fearless says, fine, just tired. I didn't sleep well I don't sleep well these days. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Fearless. Hope you get some nice sleep tonight. Honey Badger says, let's go. That reel did something productive. I got 1 follow. Oh, the reel from last night. Yeah, me and Badger were playing Fortnite last night. It was quite the game. Yeah. Ian, what's up, Ian? How we doing? I appreciate that. Fearless says, no more Kylo. That's sad. He was my favorite. All right, we're going to talk about this. We're definitely going to talk about this because it's kind of like I don't believe him at this point. Like, it's on a podcast. It's kind of more of like a who do you believe type situation here. So we're going to dive into that. I got an article pulled up. We can actually listen to the clip from the podcast of what Adam actually said, because I feel like this is being kind of stretched to an extreme. And I don't know if he's really telling the truth, because of course, if he was coming back, he's not going to come out and tell us that he's coming back and ruin the surprise of Kylo's return. But we'll see. We'll dive into it in just a second as soon as I catch up on these chats. Andrew says, I didn't realize that you and Theory were good friends. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've DM'd Theory a few times, and he's DM'd me back, and that's it. He's made a few videos. He's posted my posts a few times. I would love to call him a good friend, but it's just not the truth. I have not really had any interaction with Theory other than a few DMs. So I'd love to be friends with him. Theory, hit me up if you want to be friends. But yeah, that was very nice of him to do a video fully on my Instagram. It was a great shout out, and I thanked him for that in DMs. But being friends for the last few years is, I mean, hit me up, Theory. We'll be good friends. Yeah. Chris, what's up? Chris says, this news is really stupid. Why won't they bring Kylo back? Back. I definitely know for a fact that the Star Wars Rey movie is definitely going to fail for the fact that it will fail. Oh, or is going to fail because of this fact. Yeah, it seems like this is a dumb move, but again, I don't know if I really believe it. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what you guys think after this as well. Chris says, you better hope that Luke Skywalker is in character as Mark Hamill and is involved, or it will be stupid. Yeah, I'm not too sure if we'll see Luke's Force Ghost in the Rey movie either. I don't know how much they're going to rely on the past to kind of keep this Rey movie going. I feel like they're going to try to just go into the future with brand new cast of characters, with Rey's new Jedi Order, and maybe not involve Luke in all that big of a way. Yeah. Andrew says, I did, and I really enjoyed your new video. I appreciate that, Andrew. I really do appreciate that. I thought it was quite a good video as well. Yeah. All right, let's dive into this news. Honey Badger says, good friends. The best joke I've heard. Only good friend of Mike is me. We play fork knife together. Eat your heart out. Okay. Yes. Yes, sure. Yeah. Fearless says, oh, and I think if Driver comes back, it'll probably be as Ben Solo, which would be cool. Yeah, it will be as Ben Solo for sure. So guys, smash a freaking like on this stream. I'm going to end that poll. 88% of you guys did like this stream, and 11% of you guys also liked this stream. So there's 1% of you guys out there that didn't. But let's dive into this article right now. Do we believe this? That's going to be the question, actually. I'm going to start a new poll right now. Do you think, we will ever see Ben Solo / Kylo Ren again? Question mark. Hashtag yes or no. All right, you tell me. Hashtag day one. Hashtag not bald. Okay, let's dive into this. Let me pull it up. Pull it up. Let's see. There we go. Adam Driver clarifies his Star Wars future. Will he return as Kylo Ren? Star Wars actor, is that good? That's perfect. Okay. Star Wars actor Adam Driver has clarified his future in the franchise, saying once again that he won't be returning to the galaxy far, far away. Here we go. Well, speaking on the Smartless podcast with host Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett, Adam Driver was asked about the current state of Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise over 4 years after he last appeared in the series. Driver stated that Lucasfilm, or they are doing stuff, but it's not with me, before adding that I'm not doing it anymore. Driver's first joined the Star Wars galaxy in The Force Awakens in 2015, before going on to play Kylo Ren again in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker in 2017 and 19. In the last film, Kylo Ren turned back to the light and redeemed himself, becoming Ben Solo once again before sacrificing himself with Rey. According to Driver, that death appears to be permanent. So, we've talked about this a little bit on stream, but his death is extremely pointless at the end of Rise of Skywalker. It just is pointless. Like, he brings Rey back to life. That doesn't necessarily mean that he has to die as well. Like, they both could have survived. It could have been a happy ending, and Ben Solo could have lived and been redeemed. It didn't have to be the exact same way that it went with Anakin. It didn't have to be the same thing. It just didn't really, it felt a little bit forced that he died at the end there. And he didn't become a Force ghost because you don't see his Force ghost at the very end, but his body does disappear. There's a lot of mystery when it comes to that death at the end of Rise of Skywalker. So, Driver is currently promoting his latest film, Ferrari, the latest awards season push for the actor, who has previously been nominated for 2 Academy Awards. Well, on the press tour for Michael Mann's new film, Michael Mann created Ferrari, Driver has discussed his role in Star Wars a few times. Of course, we've talked about this many times on stream. Where was I? Oh, including the reveal that it was never the original plan for Ben Solo to come back to the light. We talked about this, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago, where he was on some other podcast or some other talk show, and he said that the original plan for Ben Solo was to stay dark side. Kylo Ren was supposed to go fully dark side by the last movie and maybe even die in that movie. According to Driver, J.J. Abrams & Co. originally planned to have Kylo Ren grow more and more confident in the dark side of the Force, and with the killing of Han Solo acting as a start to that journey in The Force Awakens, and then Rise of Skywalker would be the end of that journey. Original plans for Kylo Ren changed. So this was in the article that we talked about before. I had an overall arc in my mind that he wanted to do, and then it changed, Driver said when he was asked about the original plans for the sequel trilogy. Again, the sequel trilogy we know is so discombobulated. It really, really, really was put together poorly, and there was no clear plan from the start. But Adam was told that Kylo was supposed to become more and more evil and more immersed in the dark side as the trilogy went on. His idea was almost the opposite journey of Darth Vader, where Vader starts as the most confident, the most committed to the dark side, and by the last movie, he is his most vulnerable and weak. And he wanted to start with the opposite, where the character is his most confused and vulnerable in the first film, and by the end of the 3 movies, he would be the most committed to the dark side. Some fans speculate that Driver would return to Star Wars in Daisy Ridley's upcoming new film, which was scheduled to be released in 2026. So far, only Ridley has been confirmed to come back out of the cast of the sequel trilogy. Before Star Wars returns to the big screen, there are set to be several new seasons of television airing on Disney+. Next year, for example, is Acolyte, Bad Batch, Tales, and Skeleton Crew. And you can watch the sequel trilogy on Disney+ right now. Okay, so this doesn't really go into what he said on the podcast. It does a little bit, but not really. We're going to watch the clip from that podcast right now. But just based off of that alone, does that convince you of the fact that he's not coming back? Here's my thing. This clip that we're about to watch here just doesn't really give me any sort of... It doesn't really convince me that he's not coming back. It honestly makes me think he's lying to us, which actors do all the time in Hollywood. They have to lie because if they tell the truth, then they're ruining the projects. There's no way that Adam Driver is going to be asked, oh, are you going to be in the Rey movie? And he's going to say yes. Like, that's just never going to happen because it will spoil the entire movie. I think a lot of sequel cast members are coming back for this Rey movie. Finn, most likely. John Boyega will be coming back. I wouldn't even be surprised if you saw like a Poe Dameron and a Rose Tico and a lot of other sequel cast. But Adam Driver is the biggest question mark because his character is dead. Finn's not dead. Poe's not dead. Rose is not dead. All those characters are still alive. Ben Solo is dead. So we'll see. This is coming from Diamond Figs. My boy Will. Go shout out to Will. Go follow him on Instagram and on YouTube. He's awesome. We did a collab stream once a few months ago. We did ranking all of the trailers for Star Wars. It was pretty good. But here's Adam Driver clip from the podcast right here. Oh, well, you can't hear that.
Talk about more Star Wars.
Hang on.
Adam, are you gonna? Is there any more talk about more Star Wars stuff? Like,
oh boy, look who's back.
Yeah, they're doing stuff. Yeah, but not with me. I'm not doing it.
You're done because the character's done.
Yeah.
All right, but wait, did you?
But would you? but if you did, what character do you think you might play?
But if they came to you tomorrow and if JJ was really nice about it,
Adam, are you gonna?
So he's asked right away, are you going to do more Star Wars? And he says no, because the character's done. The character's dead, so I'm not going to be in it anymore. And honestly, that's kind of what he has to say. His character is dead. But we know from Star Wars that no one's ever truly gone.
Is there any more talk about more Star Wars stuff? Like,
oh boy, look who's back.
Yeah, they're doing stuff. Yeah, but not with me. I'm not.
He says they're doing stuff, but not with me. He's, of course, referring to the Rey movie, which he knows is in production now. He's not referring to Disney Plus shows. He's not referring to The Mandalorian. He's not talking about even the Mando movie or the Dawn of the Jedi movie. He's talking specifically about the Rey movie because they're talking specifically about continuing his character of Ben Solo in a sequel movie like the Rey movie is. And he's saying that they're doing stuff, but I'm not involved because my character is dead.
I'm not doing it.
You're done because the character's done.
Yeah.
You're done because the character's done is what he's asked. And then he says, yeah. So we can't see his face. We can't really tell if he's lying. We're not professionals over here with the lie detector test just on the voice of Adam Driver. But if I were a betting man, if I had a lot of money to put down on this in Vegas or something, I would bet that we would see Adam Driver in some way. Maybe it's a small part, maybe it's an enormous part, but in some way, I do think we'll see the character of Ben Solo or Kylo Ren in the Rey movie. I think there's just no way you go about this, continuing the sequel characters, continuing Rey, Finn, Poe, and others, and not either involve Ben or Kylo, or not even mention him, or not even show him. Like, if he did disappear at the end of Rise of Skywalker, he did become a Force ghost, then where is he? Is he going to show up as a Force ghost in the Rey movie? Is he going to come back to life in the Rey movie? The amount of times we've seen characters that are not truly gone, for example, Palpatine, we've seen Ahsoka die multiple times. We've seen many people die throughout the course of Star Wars, from Maul to Reva to Cal Kestis. All these people die, I should say. Maul being a more fun one for a lot of fans. But there is always the possibility of Ben Solo being brought back to life. It's just always up in the air. However, this clip of Adam Driver saying, yeah, no, my character's done, they're continuing without me, it doesn't really give me all that much assurance that he's not coming back. And like I said earlier, if he is coming back, he's not going to tell us. Asking this question is so irrelevant because if he was coming back, he's not going to tell you. He's a freaking actor. His job is to act. He's not going to come out and tell us that he's not going to be in the next movie, even though he might be. So, with all that evidence from the clip of the podcast, from what he said a couple weeks ago, do you think we'll see Kylo Ren again, / Ben Solo, again in the Rey movie? Or even somewhere else, I guess, at that point. But do you think we'll see him in the Rey movie? Let me catch up on some chats. Oh my God, we got a bunch of chats. I love it. Honey Badger says, we better have Ben Solo in the Rey movie or I'm not watching the Rey movie. I think a lot of people are on the same page as you with that, Honey Badger, actually. Yeah. It must have Kylo and Anakin, the wills of the Mortis gods, and Finn as a Jedi, or I'm not seeing it. Well, that's a lot of demands. If Anakin is in this movie, that would actually be a big surprise to me. Anakin shows up in the Ahsoka show because of his connection to Ahsoka. I get that he's the grandfather of Ben, but this isn't Ben's movie. This is the Rey movie. I seriously doubt that you'll see Anakin in this Rey movie. I think that's almost for sure not going to happen. I'd be extremely surprised. But Finn as a Jedi, I think, is a good bet, and probably seeing Kylo is a good bet as well. Your pal Joe, what's up, says, hi, y'all. I think there is a possibility of Driver coming back like Anakin did in A Force Vision, but it's super unlikely. Yeah, I mean, I think the more likely scenario here is to bring back the character, like bring him back to life. But seeing him as a Force ghost or in some World Between Worlds sequence or something with Rey, I don't really know if that is what is going down here. But there is always that possibility. And let's remember one big thing. Dave Filoni got this massive promotion a few months ago or a few weeks ago, whatever it was, where Dave Filoni is now the chief creative officer. That means he's involved in everything that's being made. And the Rey movie is still in early production. The script is either just getting finished or it's already been done. It's kind of a mystery right now. But the script should be done either now or in a few short weeks here. Stephen Knight is writing the script. That means Dave Filoni is going to be involved from the ground up with this Rey movie. So this Rey movie, a lot of fans are extremely nervous about, is going to have the involvement of Dave Filoni, which honestly makes me a lot happier, gives me a lot of assurance that this movie will be a lot better than I first originally thought when it was announced all the way back in April. But Dave Filoni will be involved. So we know Dave Filoni likes to go big or go home with World Between Worlds sequences, with creating the Mortis gods, with all this stuff. So what does he have planned for the new Jedi Order? Remains to be seen. I still think that Ben Solo will be involved, though. Jay says, Rey should have sacrificed herself. Well, she kind of does. She does sacrifice herself to kill Palpatine, and she dies, but Ben brings her back to life. Yeah. It's Me says, wait, what are the chances of seeing Anakin in this movie? Probably close to 0. I wouldn't say 0. You never know with Anakin Skywalker, but I would say close to 0. Maybe a mention of Anakin. That would be nice, because the sequels seem to just ignore him, other than giving us Vader's mask. I'd say a mention would be nice, because we're starting the new Jedi Order, so there's going to be a lot of talk of the old Jedi Order, what they did incorrectly and all that stuff, and I'm sure Anakin's name will be brought up at some point. Your pal Joe said, no, but the podcast is more convincing. Yeah, I think the podcast is pretty convincing that Adam Driver seems to say that he's not coming back, but he's not going to tell us that if he is. Andrew says, I think never say never, because we never thought that Andrew and Toby would come back to play Spider-Man, and they did. So it's very possible for him to return. Yeah, I mean, Toby and Andrew, especially Andrew, hasn't played Spider-Man since, 2004, 2005? It's like the same thing as Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor coming back to play their respective characters, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Nobody thought that was ever going to happen, because the characters of Anakin and Obi-Wan after Revenge of the Sith go on to become what they are in the original trilogy. So there was a big time gap there that was filled by the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which allowed them to come back, but nobody ever thought that they were coming back. Not even the actors themselves. Hayden Christensen, after Revenge of the Sith, did very minimal roles when it came to Hollywood. He kind of just went on to do his own thing, just literally went on to become Luke Skywalker, a farmer in the middle of nowhere. But he didn't probably ever think that he was coming back to the character of Anakin, because we know what happens to Anakin. He turns into Darth Vader, and then the original trilogy happens and he dies. So there's always the possibility for the character of Ben Solo or Kylo Ren to come back, whether it's in a prequel, which could be the downfall or the fall of Ben Solo or the rise of Kylo Ren, or in a post-sequel world where the character comes back to life, or in a World Between Worlds sequence, or a Force Ghost. There's so many possibilities, and that's just why I don't believe any of this. Derpy Entertainment, what's up, Derpy? Says, I'm here for the sweater content. What? I'm confused. I don't know what you are referring to. Honey Badger says, man, whoever asked Adam that question sounds almost exactly like Dave Filoni. That's awesome. Really? I guess I didn't hear it. Fearless says, Hayden was gone for a while, and now look, he's back in Star Wars too. Yeah, that's kind of the point I just made. Hayden Christensen probably never thought he was coming back to Anakin. He came back, and now he wants to be Anakin for a long time. He wants to play Anakin so much more. Think about it. He was Anakin / Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Now he was Anakin again in Ahsoka, and he has said publicly that he wants to play Anakin a lot more. Yeah. Jay says, Adam would come back when Luke's Jedi Temple show comes out. Here's the thing. If you're going to do a Luke's Jedi Temple show, which I absolutely think they should, bringing Adam Driver back, Adam Driver's only getting older in the character of Ben Solo in an instance of a Luke's Jedi Temple show would be a lot younger. So you'd have to probably recast the character. Now, a lot of fans want Finn Wolfhard. I think that's his name, Finn Wolfhard. Let's look him up. Wolfhard. A lot of fans want this guy to play a young Ben Solo. He's the kid from Stranger Things. He kind of looks like Adam Driver. He looks like Ben Solo, and he would be a pretty damn good young version of Ben for a Luke's Jedi Temple show. But it would be very hard to bring Adam back to play a younger version of Ben. Unless it was like immediately leading into the sequel trilogy, which would kind of be weird. Yeah. Cappy, what's up, Cappy? Says, Knights of Ren needs to be redeemed. I think so too, but here's the thing with the Knights of Ren, is you can bring them in the Mandoverse. The Knights of Ren have been around a lot longer than Kylo himself. The Knights of Ren were before Kylo Ren. He was brought into the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren actually helped him destroy Luke's Jedi Temple. So the Knights of Ren existed before Kylo. So the Knights of Ren could be shown in the Mandoverse. Like we saw the Praetorian Guards, Snoke's Praetorian Guards that were in The Mandalorian Season 3. We could also be seeing, I love the hearts, I appreciate you guys a lot. We could also be seeing the Knights of Ren in maybe Skeleton Crew or Mando Season 4 or something along those lines. It's definitely possible. But I do agree, they need to be redeemed. Yeah, they were extremely underutilized in the sequel trilogy, especially after in the first one, The Force Awakens, you see a flashback of the Knights of Ren helping Kylo destroy Luke's Jedi Temple. Yeah. Honey Badger says, Adam, John, and Oscar, Adam Driver, John Boyega, and Oscar Isaac should all be returning. I'm pretty sure Disney learned their lesson, especially with Dave and John having more creative control than the time of the sequels. I'm sure we are okay. I agree. I think we're in a good spot for Star Wars. Having the right people have more of a say in what comes out, like Dave Filoni getting that promotion. It seems like we're going in the right direction. And I think the Rey movie is going to be one that really only benefits from these changes at Lucasfilm. Yeah. Cappy says, watch them hook Ben Solo up to a machine and bring him back. Yeah, just do Palpatine Part 2, like the sequel trilogy. That would suck. Not going to lie. I'm going to be straightforward with you guys. That would be horrendous. It also wouldn't make sense because Palpatine doesn't turn back to the light at the end of that, and Ben does. Yeah. I say if anyone is to not return, it's John Boyega, not Adam Driver, let's be honest. Well, John Boyega, I think, is the one who should return the most. I would love to see Adam come back. I'd love to see Oscar Isaac come back. But John is the one who got so mistreated in the sequel trilogy that bringing him back will be like the feel-good moment for the fans. The same way they did with Ahmed Best in The Mandalorian Season 3. He's the one who saved Grogu. He's the one who played Jar Jar Binks, who got a lot of shit during the prequel trilogy. It'll kind of be the same exact story all over again. And I think it'll be awesome. It'll be such a good feel-good moment when we see Finn as a Jedi. A lot of fans will kind of galvanize behind that. Yeah. Also, John Boyega is my Kang the Conqueror replacement. I don't care what anyone says, or this dude from Get Out or Help. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be recasting Kang. I mean, maybe they will, but I think they're going to go away from Kang in the MCU just because the whole thing with Jonathan Majors. But John Boyega would make a good recast for him. That's for sure. Yeah. Fearless says, and with the Rey movie, there has to be Poe, Finn, and C-3PO, R2, BB-8 back as well. Yeah, I'm sure you'll probably see BB-8. And where there's BB-8, there's Poe because he's technically his droid. R2 and C-3PO, I wonder where R2 and C-3PO will go. Because, of course, Luke, Leia, and Han are all dead. Chewie's still alive, though. I wonder if Chewie will be involved with this new movie. I don't know. It'll be quite interesting to see what characters do show up and what characters don't show up at this point. Officer Murdoch? Sure. Says, Ben Solo must be in the Rey movie because they are the dyad. They are the dyad, but that doesn't mean that one of them can't die. It's possible that we'll see him as a Force ghost or something else, but I would way rather see him come back to life. Hello, World Between Worlds. I know, World Between Worlds is always the answer, but I feel like if you're just reverting to the World Between Worlds so consistently in Star Wars, it's taking away from anybody's death. Because at that point, then really nobody's ever truly gone. But maybe one more time, one more World Between Worlds run with Ben Solo, and then we can call it quits with the World Between Worlds. Yeah. Cappy says Ben Solo is in the movie as Rey and being controlled by Ben's spirit. Oh, you mean like Ben Solo just went into Rey's body and Rey's actually still dead? And that's why she says Rey Skywalker at the end, because it's Ben Solo who's a Skywalker? Cappy, I think you cracked the code. Is it Murdoch? Is it Murdoch? I feel like it's Murdoch. Officer Murdoch says Ben's last words in the novelization were, "I will always be with you." We must see this in the movie. Well, the Rey movie is going to take place 15 years after Rise, so I doubt we'll see that scene. But when does he say that? Like as he's dying? Honey Badger says, in all caps, what if the apprentice of Vader saves Kylo in the World Between Worlds as Ezra did for her? I would freak out. What if the apprentice of Vader saved Kylo? Oh, what if Ahsoka saved Kylo in the World Between Worlds like Ezra did with Ahsoka? Huh. That would be kind of crazy. Yeah. There's always the possibility with the World Between Worlds that anybody could kind of go in and save Ben Solo. The fact that his body disappears leads me to believe that, because he either becomes a Force ghost or he gets saved. He would have got saved naked, though. That would be a little bit awkward if Ahsoka grabbed him out through the World Between Worlds and he was just fully naked. Talk about Ben Swallow. Yeah, we'll have to kind of figure that one out, I guess, if he's going to be fully naked. I don't think anybody would be opposed to that, huh? Dr. Ratty Ross, what's up, says, we obviously want Ben/Kylo to be involved so he could save the disastrous Rey movie that it's going to be. I still have hope for the Rey movie, again, because of Dave Filoni's promotion and the fact that Stephen Knight is writing it. He's an incredible writer. From Peaky Blinders is one of the greatest shows of all time. I do have hope for the Rey movie. The things that are sort of making me not have hope are that it's a Rey movie and that it's being directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who has almost zero experience. She has zero experience with Star Wars, but has very limited experience with film in general. Now, we've seen two things happen with Star Wars in the past. One, directors completely take over and change the story completely, with Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams being completely in control. And they're the directors of the movie. And we've seen the exact opposite with the original trilogy, where Kirshner comes in for the second film, Empire Strikes Back, but really George Lucas is behind the scenes doing all the hard work, creating the story itself, and Kirshner's just the name on the director's spot. So there's two different ways this could go. Charmin Obed-Chinoy could take over the movie and make it her own, or she could just be the name on the director's spot, and Dave Filoni and Stephen Knight could be the people who are kind of pulling the strings and telling the story. I think that's probably what'll happen. The Rey movies, they're going to be really, really good, or just not it at all, and continue what the sequel trilogy did, which was divide the fandom and not really tell a cohesive story. I still think this Rey movie is the start of a new trilogy. I think all the movies that were announced were starts of new trilogies. I hope, at least. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. I do have hope. I do have hope. Murdoch is pronounced Murdoch. I was right. Nice. Awesome. He was the captain. He was the officer of the Titanic. I meant the new Rey movie. The new Rey movie. We must see Ben is still with Rey because he promised it to her as he died. Oh, I will always be with you is his last words. So we have to see him with her because he will always be there. Yeah, but that might be more of a like in her own head type thing. Like if he didn't learn to become a Force ghost, he can't really appear to her. But I get what you're saying. Cool. I had no idea that the officer of the Titanic was Dr. Murdoch, by the way, or Officer Murdoch. Hal, what's up? Hale, damn it. Ah! Hale, what's up? Honey Badger says, after all, she and Miss World Between Worlds / the sister. Wait, what? After all, she is Miss World Between Worlds / the sister, talking about Ahsoka, and has the most knowledge of the World Between Worlds, and she could end up saving Ben. And that's why we hear her voice talking to Rey in episode 9. Yeah, I've made a few videos actually about Rey still being alive. Ahsoka still being alive while she's talking to Rey in The Rise of Skywalker. And I think that's very likely. Very, very likely. Yeah. Chris says, so they're actually going to do a second season of Kenobi, but it's going to be different villain instead of Darth Vader or Darth Maul. Well, no, it hasn't been greenlit yet. However, there has been a lot of talk of a second season of Kenobi. There has been zero word from Lucasfilm whether or not they will do a second season, but Ewan McGregor, Deborah Chow, they've all come around and said they want to do a second season. The problem with the story that I set up in the video I did yesterday would be that wouldn't involve Vader at all. It would also sort of tell the story of Darth Krayt a little bit more than Obi-Wan, and you might have the same conflict that was with the Book of Boba Fett, where it's not fully focused on Boba Fett. Instead, the Mandalorian episodes are the more important episodes. So there still has been no official green light from Lucasfilm or Disney that we are going to get an Obi-Wan season 2. But if we were to get one, what would we see? We wouldn't see Darth Maul. We wouldn't see Darth Vader. The only real option to keep Obi-Wan on Tatooine would be Darth Krayt. Fearless says, stop using the all caps. I feel screamed at by you. Yeah, Badger, come on. I like screaming for Star Wars. Good answer. Use the Ghostbuster vacuum and press release, and boom, Kylo Ren. That's genius right there. That is some genius shit. Fearless says, I don't think so, but it would be awesome. Yeah. Okay, I'll ask the real question. Where is Cal and BD? Where's Cal Kestis? That's a great question. So I actually was talking about this in a comment section with somebody. I can't remember. I apologize if you're in the chat right now. But I was talking to somebody about this in a comment section of one of my videos about Cal Kestis showing up in live action. Jedi Survivor is gone completely under the radar. Not only was it the best game of the year, probably one of the best Star Wars games ever, but the story at the end set up something so huge for the future of Star Wars that nobody, not a single freaking soul, is really talking about, and that is Tanalorr. So spoiler alert if you haven't played through Jedi Survivor, but at the end of the game, you arrive at this hidden planet that's hidden behind like a nebula or something like that called Tanalorr. And Cal Kestis is going to now use this as a safe haven for people trying to run from the Empire, probably Jedi who survived Order 66, and it's connected to the path that we saw in Kenobi, where we saw Quinlan Voss wrote on the wall and some other Jedi wrote on the wall who survived Order 66. This path that is sort of the underground railroad of the Empire, trying to get away from the Empire, we're going to see Tanalorr be a big part of that, and Cal Kestis be involved in that in a big, big way as well. So which Jedi went through there? Did Balin go through there? Did Jude Law's character, who's going to be in Skeleton Crew, go through there? Did Quinlan Voss go through there? Was he once on Tanalorr? Jedi Survivor set up something very, very big for the future of Star Wars, and that is Tanalorr. I definitely still think that Cal Kestis is coming to live action. I don't know when. I really, really hope it's in what the fuck's it called? Skeleton Crew. In Skeleton Crew, I really hope he is introduced in that. All I know is Jedi 3, the third Jedi game, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, and now this new game that's in production right now. That game is going to be way more important to the future of Star Wars than many, many people know. I think that game will set up Cal Kestis to come into live action. I think it will allow us to see a bunch of other Jedi who went to Tanalorr at one point. And it could just be so important that it could really explain a lot going into the Mando movie. Yeah. Fearless says, I can see R2 and Chewie and C-3PO with Rey. Yeah, but what would they be doing there? If Rey is starting this new Jedi Order, why would Chewbacca be there? There's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to the state of the galaxy in this upcoming Rey movie. It's 15 years after the fall of the First Order. And, like, the New Republic is such a failure right now in the Mandoverse. So what is the new Republic in this post-sequel world? Coruscant is technically still there, but we don't know the state of Coruscant right now. Is Chewie going to be like a senator? Is he going to be the Chancellor Chewie? Chancellor Chewbacca. Let's do it. I'd vote for him. But we don't know. We really don't know the state of the galaxy. Ian says, R2 is the only one who knows where any of the wires go in the Millennium Falcon. Yes, probably. Oh no, Chewie probably does too. Ian says, how old would Cal Kestis be by the Rey movie? His 70s? Well, let's do some quick math. The Rey movie is 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker is about 30 years after Return of the Jedi, so that's 45. The original trilogy is about 3 years, that's 48. Then you got like 20 more years in between the prequels and the originals. Where was I at? 48. 68. Cal Kestis is probably about 9 or something, 9 or 11, or 9, 10 or 11. I forget how old he is in at Order 66. So add 9 to that, what we were at, 68. So yeah, and he's probably mid-70s by the time of the Rey movie. So I doubt you'll see Cal Kestis in the Rey movie because that's just unlikely. The actor's not that old. But you could see Cal Kestis in the Mandoverse because you subtract almost 20, 30 years from that. So he'd be in his 40s or his 50s. Something like that in the Mandoverse. So you could definitely see that. Yeah. Ahsoka disappeared in Ahsoka. Ahsoka disappeared in Ahsoka. Oh, like when she died, she fell off the cliff fighting with Balin? That's true. She did. She disappeared and then went into the world between worlds, and then her body came back after the fact. And that was made explicitly clear when Carson Teva said that they've sweeped the whole freaking ocean a bunch of times and didn't find her body. But then when she comes out of the world between worlds and chooses life, her body is easily found. So that does, it's made extremely clear that her body does disappear. Yeah. And so did Ben Solo's at the end of episode 9. You are correct. Fearless says, the only one who would save Ben Solo in the world between worlds is Anakin, in my opinion. Yeah, and it would make sense because Anakin's supposed to be the chosen one. He's supposed to be the one who can save the ones he loves from dying. And it's his grandson. It would make sense. It would make sense. Okay, here we go. Ian says, Ben fully naked with a lightsaber at, wait, with his lightsaber at attention? I wouldn't say no. I knew making that comment would come back to haunt me. Okay, Cappy says, Luke's Force Ghost just dipped. Yes and no. I mean, think about it like Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's Force Ghost is involved in the original trilogy, but not really that much. He's hanging out with Yoda on Dagobah for a few scenes. So I think that might be the sort of case with Luke as well, where Luke won't be involved in the Rey movie unless it's for like a scene or two, and that's it. Does Luke even have a Force Ghost? Well, yeah, we saw it in The Rise of Skywalker multiple times. Officer Murdoch says, oh, I already read that. My fault. Andrew says, I got to get out of here. Great rest. Have a great rest of your day. You too, Andrew. I appreciate you. Chris says, do you think that Obi-Wan Season 2 will happen? And if that new villain is in, and have that new villain instead of Darth Vader or Darth Maul. Do I think Kenobi Season 2 will happen? I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. I think probably yes, just because Ewan wants to do it. Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan himself, wants to do more Obi-Wan. Give the guy the keys. Like, he wants to do it, just allow him to do it. Give the man the hopes and dreams. Now, again, you can't break the canon. So Obi-Wan and Vader can't fight again. Maul only comes to Tatooine when he dies, which we see in Star Wars Rebels. So it can't be Maul, it can't be Vader. There's really no other option than Darth Krayt, who's a Legends character, who's a Tusken Raider Jedi on Tatooine. So, yeah, I think if they are going to do a second season, the only correct villain for the season, I guess, is Asherad Het or Darth Krayt. And not only that, it would allow the next villain, which would hopefully be the villain of the Rey movie with Darth Krayt, to be connected to the original Jedi Order. Asherad Het, who becomes Darth Krayt, was a Jedi who survived Order 66. He was a member of the old Jedi Temple. So he would be involved with the Rey movie, connecting the two time periods again, and connecting Obi-Wan to the character. It would be cool. Yeah. Jay says, what if Ben follows Rey around as a Force Ghost, but Rey can't see him, but can hear him like Qui-Gon in the Clone Wars to Yoda? That's definitely possible. But at that point, just allow him to be a Force Ghost. Because if Anakin can become a Force Ghost after almost going through no training, and the explanation is Obi-Wan came to him and said, look, you got to listen to me, then the same can be said for Ben Solo. Why not? Honey Badger says, and Bode's daughter is Force sensitive. You have a Night Sister, a cook, a gray Jedi, and who's a cook, and a new apprentice on the hidden planet in your own galaxy. Jedi Survivor was robbed of Game of the Year. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Cal would be older than Baylan. No, Balin's older than Cal. Balin's for sure older than Cal. Fearless says, I don't know. I do not like the idea of the new Jedi Order. Why do that again when it's just going to fail so badly? There has to be something new. There's much better than an order. Well, I think that this new Jedi Order is going to be something new. It's going to be different than the old Jedi that came before it. They're going to have learned from the Jedi of the Republic, Luke's Jedi, and they're going to have actually learned. Oh, Grease. Yeah. Of course. Chris says, just hope that in this Rey movie, that Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost ain't gonna be naked. That would be a little weird. Well, I don't think he'll be naked. That's for sure. No, I don't think so. Ian says, put Obi-Wan in the Rey movie. That's definitely not going to happen. Yeah, there's no way. After the sequel trilogy, not involving Obi-Wan, except for like one line in The Force Awakens, there is no way. Yeah. No way. Make the Night Sisters the villain for the Rey movie. That's the most likely. The Night Sisters could be involved. I just don't think so. No, I don't think so. I feel like the future of the Night Sisters could be cool because they're magic users and they don't really use the Force, and they're pretty damn powerful, and we've seen them fight Jedi before. I just don't think they'll be the villain of the Rey movie. No, I don't. I don't. As of right now, wow, 65% of you do think that we will see Ben Solo again. That's kind of crazy, but also that means that 35% of you don't think we're going to ever see him again, which is also just as crazy, honestly. Crazy. I do think that we'll still see Ben Solo again, and even if Adam Driver's out here saying, no, I'm done with the character, they're doing new stuff, but I'm not involved, I don't buy any of it. He's not going to tell us the truth, even if he is involved, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But at this point, I don't believe him. I think that Ben Solo will be involved in the Rey movie, whether that's a little part or a big part, he will be there in some sort of way. That's just my final take on the whole damn thing. And somehow, we just talked for 52 minutes about that. That's pretty damn crazy. I don't know how this keeps happening. We got a lot more to get to in this live stream, but that was crazy. So let's keep going. So let's talk about 2023, as this is the last live stream of the year. This is the last live stream of the year, as next year, or tomorrow, I should say, next year. Tomorrow is New Year's. So tomorrow is the last day of the year. Today is the last live stream of the year. So let's recap 2023 a little bit. We did it in our last stream to an extent, but let's just read this article because it does it pretty damn well of recapping this year from Star Wars, the ups, the downs, and what to look forward to for next year. Let's talk about all this stuff because this is the final live stream of the year. Crazy. Even as I see we got 11 people right now in the chat. We had up to, I think, 17 a few, like 20 minutes ago. The start of this year was about one person watching me live. Even if that is usually 0 or 1 or maybe 2, and nobody was talking in the chat, so I'd just be talking to myself. So I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. Talking in the chat is incredible to be able to just read your comments, react off your comments, talk about your comments. It is incredible, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here and growing with us through the year, because the start of this year was a completely different story, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Okay? So, with that being said, let's talk about Star Wars over the last year. This is Kathleen at Star Wars Celebration, which we'll talk about a lot. Star Wars news recap of 2023. Star Wars 2023 is now in our rear view mirrors. And it's time for everyone to look back at the year that this year had to offer. We've done just that. And considering we are a site covering Star Wars news, this is coming from Star Wars Newsnet, what better way to re-examine our 2023 than to highlight the biggest news headlines of the year? If you've been living under a rock, here are some quick recaps that we gave you for Star Wars. So, this is the biggest news from 2023. It's interesting to look back 1 year and realize that a report from December 31st said that Damon Lindelof's Star Wars movie was targeting an April 2023 shoot in London. How far we've come. That is crazy, actually, because that is the Rey movie that he's talking about right there, and it definitely didn't start filming in 2023. It's still not even going to start filming until at least the summer of next year. How far we've come. We now know of 6 feature films that Lucasfilm is actively working on, and 3 of them were announced this year: the Rey movie, the Mando movie, and the Dawn of the Jedi movie. For starters, the biggest development has been made on the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy directed film. The 2-time Oscar-winning short documentary director stayed on the project after last winter's creative overhaul, which saw Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson exit as scribes and Peaky Blinders Stephen Knight come in. So, of course, Damon Lindelof was dropped as the writer, and Stephen Knight came in as the new writer. The project was the former 2 were working on was set many decades after The Rise of Skywalker and would have featured an elderly version of Rey. Stephen Knight's version of the script, however, which should have a finished first draft by now, is set 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. Daisy Ridley will be playing Rey, as announced at Star Wars Celebration in London, and filming will begin in the second half of 2024, likely targeting the release date of May 2026. This is at Star Wars Celebration. That's Charmine, that's Kathleen, and that's Rey. Daisy Ridley. Taika Waititi's Star Wars film still continues its development. We've talked about Taika's movie at length this year, multiple times. Taika's movie still is in development, but there is not a lot of public movement on this movie. The writer/director was in negotiations with Lucasfilm earlier this year. That also played a part in that, but Kathleen Kennedy said that they were having some trouble cracking the script. The Oscar-winning writer will be focused on Clara on the next and the son next, so don't expect this film anytime soon. However, we've been assured that it is still in the oven. It is a similar situation to Sean Levy's movie. Sean Levy being the guy who's doing Deadpool 3, which comes out next year. It was confirmed in late 2022 to be he will be working on this Star Wars. He's currently working on Deadpool 3, like I just said, and could shoot another film before he gets around to doing Star Wars. So the Taika movie and the Sean Levy movie are just not nearly as far along as the Mando movie or the Rey movie or even the Dawn of the Jedi movie. The three movies that were announced the three announced films this year were these. Lando, originally announced as a Disney Plus series, is now being reworked into a feature film with Donald and his brother Stephen Glover behind it. James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie, which will take place 25,000 years before the Skywalker saga and will explore the origins of the Force, which I still am looking forward to probably the most of anything. And the new feature film of Dave Filoni, which will be the culmination of multiple storylines set up in the New Republic era of Disney Plus shows. None of them have been dated, and not much else is known about them. However, there are Star Wars release dates for movies. You have May of 2026, December of 2026, and December of 2027. Those three dates are set for Star Wars releases. I'm guessing it'll be Rey movie, Mando movie, and Dawn of the Jedi movie, as that Taika movie and Sean Levy movie are not as far along. Meanwhile, going negative for a second, films by Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins have been confirmed to be no longer in the works. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie, which was supposed to be released at the end of this year, which clearly didn't happen, was canceled, and Kevin Feige movie was also canceled. So, some highlights of 2023 Star Wars shows. As with this year's movies, much of the news surrounding Star Wars TV shows centered around the Hollywood strikes. Yet 2023 still contained many highly anticipated series, from The Mandalorian Season 3 and Ahsoka, both premiering this year, and The Bad Batch Season 2, Vision Season 2, and Young Jedi Adventures, which has not even wrapped its first season yet, which is still crazy. We're also sprinkled throughout the year as well. However, it's for the years of 2024 and beyond that we may see just how much of an effect these strikes did have. This year was not really affected by it too much, other than Skeleton Crew being delayed into next year. It's next year and the year after that will feel those delays. At this year's Star Wars Celebration, we got to see a lot of new trailers from upcoming shows. Ahsoka's first trailer premiered along with a sizzle reel from the upcoming Acolyte, which we didn't get to see publicly, which was shown for only in-person attendees. We received updates for the second season of Andor, along with a brief glimpse of what the cast was working on. Not to mention an update on Skeleton Crew, with another only in-person trailer that hasn't been officially posted online. Animation-wise, Lucasfilm has also shown off a bit more of The Bad Batch Season 3 and announced the second season of Tales of the Jedi that is in the works. we can't just gloss over this image right here. We can't do that. Ahsoka was incredible. My God, was that movie? It was that show so good. I got the cup right here. It was incredible. It was a masterpiece. Not only getting Anakin back, which we got Anakin back in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but getting Clone Wars Anakin back, getting Anakin and Ahsoka in live action together for the first time ever. Ahsoka just knocked it out of the park. This episode in particular, episode 5, was just incredible. However, it was only a few weeks later that the Hollywood strikes would be put on notice, and the writers and actors both went on strike. The strikes went on for 150 days almost. Well, this didn't affect the TV show releases for this year. Recent news indicated that the strikes did affect Lucasfilm's TV plans. It's been confirmed that The Acolyte, The Bad Batch, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, and Skeleton Crew will all premiere in 2024. However, Andor Season 2 has been pushed out of 2024. This is likely a result of Andor's filming having to be put on hold due to the strikes. Lastly, it should be mentioned that Dave Filoni has been promoted to Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm, most likely as a result of the success of Ahsoka. There is no confirmation yet of an Ahsoka Season 2. So honestly, we'll get to this video game news in just a second here. Honestly, I think probably the two biggest things of the year were Ahsoka, and off the backs of Ahsoka were the announcement that Dave Filoni got the promotion to Chief Creative Officer. Now, as of right now, that news doesn't feel like a big deal, but as we go further and further along to next year and the year after and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that, for Star Wars content, that news of Dave Filoni getting this promotion is going to be the biggest news we received all year. It just won't be put into effect for just a few years. But the Ahsoka show, by far my favorite project. Tell me what your favorite project of the year was, whether that's Bad Batch Season 2, Mando Season 3, Jedi Survivor, Vision Season 2, Ahsoka, Young Jedi Adventures. Do you read the High Republic books? What was your favorite Star Wars project this year? Mine, hands down, is Ahsoka. Probably second place would be Jedi Survivor. And then maybe Mando, I'd guess. Not too sure, but Ahsoka is definitely the best of the best. It's so damn good. Yeah, 100%. Fearless says, Mando Season 3 and Ahsoka are definitely my top two. That's pretty good. War Gaming, what's up, War Gaming, says, Bad Batch. Bad Batch Season 2 does go under the radar a little bit, just because it was like at the very beginning of the year. I kind of got to go back and watch that second season again. I'm lost on a lot of what happened in that season. But yeah. Yeah, it was definitely good, for sure. Ugh. Also, well, you put your favorite Star Wars project of the year in the chat. Can I get some good cuff swallow orders? Dun dun. All right, let's go to the video game news. Video game news from 2023. In 2023, we had a release of a major Star Wars video game in Respawn Entertainment's Jedi Survivor, the sequel to 2019's Jedi Fallen Order, which not only was a massive success with critics and fans alike, it also scored multiple nominations for at the Game Awards. A third Jedi game has been confirmed by Cameron Monaghan to be in the works right now. But we also had a new development on several upcoming titles. The most noteworthy was the announcement of Massive Entertainment's Star Wars Outlaws. It's an open-world AAA game coming in 2024. Set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, this story will follow Kay Vess as she takes on missions from multiple crime syndicates and delivers on them or betrays her employers. Depending on the player's will. We know characters like Jabba the Hutt will appear, and there's even speculation about Kiara being featured, which would absolutely be insane. But this game, honestly, has me very, very excited. I have another news article that we're going to go over in a little bit here about Star Wars Outlaws 2, because it's such a cool game. It's going to be so damn cool. The time period it's set in, being able to see characters like Jabba the Hutt, possibly Boba Fett, possibly other bounty hunters like Cad Bane, and not only other bounty hunters, but other crime syndicates. Being able to see Kiara from Solo, you guys know who Kiara is, right? Being able to see Kiara from Solo would be so damn cool. And she would be the ruler of the Crimson Dawn at the time, so that would be incredible. We get to see a lot of the Star Wars comics for these comic readers come to life with Black Chrysanthemum and maybe even like Dr. Aphra and stuff like that. So this game could be extremely cool, and it's open world. Whatever you decide goes. So whatever decision you make is kind of what goes down. And it's a lot like GTA, where the Empire you'll be wanted by the Empire, and you'll have like stars on you, and then you'll have to run away from the Empire, stuff like that. This game is going to be extremely underrated, I think. When this trailer dropped, a lot of fans were upset because they saw open world game, but then they saw that they had to play as this specific character, as Kay Vess. But honestly, this game looks incredible, and I think it's going way under the radar. Looking further ahead, it's been pretty quiet on the Knights of the Old Republic remake front, with Embracer being tight-lipped about it. Rumor had it that development was on ice, but even that was met with some back push from other members of the video game community. Disney's gaming VP wouldn't confirm nor deny anything, besides saying that the company is aware of the massive asset that they have on their hands. Of course, the Knights of the Old Republic remake would be a massive success. And the only problem with that game, because we've talked about it at length on these streams, is that Embracer is going out of business, pretty much. Or they're struggling, to say the least. BitReactor reminded us that they are working on a Star Wars strategy game, and the long delay of Star Wars Hunter mobile game was pushed back once again. Quantic Dream continues to insist progress on Star Wars Eclipse is coming along nicely, but it doesn't sound like we'll be able to play that game anytime soon. In addition, the remaster of Dark Forces has been announced for February 28th of 2024. We watched the trailer for this. It doesn't really look that good, honestly, but that's okay. Star Wars Eclipse is probably the most exciting prospect of these games, just based off of the trailer and when it takes place in the High Republic and being able to like play any character type thing. That game could be extremely cool. I'm still very excited for Star Wars Outlaws, of course. The third of the Jedi games is going to be extremely cool. Star Wars video games over the next couple of years could be awesome. And maybe even seeing a Knights of the Old Republic remake. Books and comics for 2023. It's a lot of High Republic stuff. I won't really dive too much into this because I know we don't have a lot of comics and book readers in the chat, but this is actually pretty interesting. The current run of both Bounty Hunters and Dr. Aphra were both coming to an end, but for next year, the Lucasfilm Publishing did announce a slew of new comics, including upcoming individual ones like the Django and Mace Windu ones. The High Republic received many notable comics for this year, including Shadow of Starlight for Phase 2 and 3 of the High Republic adventures. Not to mention several noteworthy non-High Republic books, including Star Wars Yoda and other comics returning to Return of the Jedi for its 40th anniversary. Yeah, that's about it for... That goes into, Phase 3 of High Republic stuff there, but we won't get into that for now. But that was 2023 in all the announcements, okay? That was a lot. Now, let me catch up on some chats first of all. Fearless says, 2024 is right around the corner. Yeah, it is. Tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. Going to be crazy, crazy. Chris says, that's really weird if Kylo Ren's character will be naked in the next Star Wars film and Rey's Jedi Order. If Kylo will be naked in the Rey movie, it should be rated R. Well, he won't be naked. It was a joke. It was a joke. Ian says, Happy New Year's, Mike. How are you going to celebrate? Well, I'm going to count down from 10. I'm going to scream Happy New Year. And, sounds about right. I'll probably celebrate with a girl who loves Star Wars. We'll put it that way. Officer Murdoch says, as Kylo Ren / Ben Solo has been the most popular character in the sequel trilogy, Star Wars would be very dumb if they did not bring him back. Yeah, well, that's why I think they're very dumb for killing him off in the first place. But yeah, they'd be pretty dumb not to bring him back. Yeah. Officer Murdoch says, I beg your pardon. I am a Star Wars book and comic reader. I apologize, Dr. Murdoch. I mean, Officer Murdoch. I don't know why I keep calling you Dr. Murdoch. But I apologize. I read some of that stuff. I did. I am too. I don't read all the books and all the comics, but I do try to keep up on my, to go. Honey Badger says, Mike, you are the GOAT. Don't forget it. Hashtag Mr. Famous. Oh my God. I appreciate that, but I'm definitely not famous. Fearless says, nobody is going to be naked in the Rey movie. Yeah, no, they're not. Honey Badger says, can we all thank God we didn't have to wait until 3 a.m. for the drops anymore? Thank you, Star Wars gods. Yeah, that was also a very big thing that happened this year. And it started with Ahsoka, and then in Loki Season 2 kept that going as well. Star Wars finally, or Disney I should say, finally learned their lesson. And from all the people who complained about having to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch these damn shows, they finally learned their lesson and released them at 9 p.m. for Eastern Standard Time at least. And it's fantastic. It was so much better. We had more people able to come to the watch parties. We were able to do more watch parties because I didn't have to wake up at 3 a.m. to do them. It was amazing. It was awesome. Yes. I almost forgot that even happened, Honey Badger. I appreciate that. Yeah. Fearless says, if they don't postpone again, like they so love to do. I don't know what you're referring to, but yes, Lucasfilm loves to postpone stuff. Everything seems to be delayed when it comes to Star Wars things. Officer Murdoch says, I love the Clone Wars scene in the Ahsoka series with Anakin and Ahsoka too. Yeah, it was probably the coolest episode of any Star Wars content. Probably ever, but definitely this year. Yeah. John Groom, what's up, John Groom? How we doing? Thanks for the good cuz follow orders. Honey Badger says, hey man, just chrysanthemum now. Disney sucks rocks. Oh God. Yeah, it's not black chrysanthemum anymore. It's just chrysanthemum. I apologize. John Groom says, with Star Wars history of smoke and mirrors, then anything Adam Driver just said means nothing. Yeah, that's pretty much what we talked about for like 50 minutes. It's pretty much just nothing. Whatever he says, we can't really believe because they're known for just lying about stuff all the time. For sure. All right. Now that we recapped all the news and all the projects from 2023, let's talk about everything that we know from Star Wars shows to books to movies, books and comic books. Officer Murdoch, I got you. And movies that will be in production or go into production or that we are getting in 2024. Okay, so this is the upcoming year. We're finally getting some upcoming year stuff here. Everything that we know about Star Wars in 2024. TV shows, books, and movies in production. Here we go. Star Wars 2024 slate is full to the brim with new Star Wars shows, movies, books, and video games set for a release across the next 12 months. If you guys thought this year was a crazy year with Bad Batch, Mando, Visions, Survivor, Ahsoka, next year is going to be so much more. With the franchise main output since 2019 has been in the realm of TV, the announcement of 3 upcoming Star Wars movies at Star Wars Celebration in 2023 heralded the return of Lucasfilm to the big screen. Similarly, Star Wars printed success has been roaring in the forum of the High Republic, an era of the galaxy which will soon permit live action projects. Given the franchise's success of late, it can be difficult to keep on track of the wealth of upcoming Star Wars shows, movies, books, etc. Furthermore, Star Wars has seen increasing prosperity in the world of gaming with the last installment of the Star Wars Jedi series, atop more announcements from Lucasfilm Games. With all that being said, here is everything that we are expecting from the galaxy far, far away in 2024, as Star Wars continues to expand its multimedia storytelling in dizzyingly exciting ways. Number 6, so I guess this is the top 6. Upcoming Star Wars shows to be expected in 2024. Despite the new Star Wars movies being announced in 2023, there is no denying that the franchise's most immediate future success will remain connected to the medium of television. With ranking Star Wars TV shows, most agree that the franchise has had few misses regarding long-form projects. Most Star Wars TV properties have been well received, as sure, whatever. I can't speak English, guys. By the continued production and announcements from Lucasfilm regarding further stories being told on the small screen. So a lot of TV shows have been announced. A lot of TV shows are on the way. Be it the expansion of the New Republic era that houses stories like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, or the exploration of the other eras of the timeline, Star Wars 2024 TV releases will continue the franchise on Disney Plus's ventures. So, Skeleton Crew will be the first, maybe not the first actually, but it will be the continuation of the Mandoverse in 2024. The first expected release of 2024, again, this might not be the case anymore, as we've heard that it might be delayed till the end of the year, but we don't really know. Of Star Wars 2024 TV shows is Skeleton Crew. Commonly known only as Skeleton Crew, the show is another installment of the New Republic era of the Star Wars timeline, set in the same time frame as The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett. Skeleton Crew will be a Amblin-style story of 4 children who become stranded in space and team up with a Jedi being played by Jude Law. It's not like specifically said that he's a Jedi. It just says he's a Force user right now. So Jedi, Force user, same thing. To make their way home. The series is written and created by Christopher Ford and John Watts, the two who created the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. With returning New Republic era directors, including Bryce Dallas Howard and Lee Isaac Chung, who both worked on both The Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. New directors to the Star Wars galaxy include Daniels of Everything Everywhere All at Once fame and Jake something, who is also tapped to direct Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, and acclaimed A24 film David Lowery. A release date has not been set for the Skeleton Crew, although it is expected to be released in the first quarter of 2024, given its placement on the Star Wars timeline. The series is also expected to tie heavily into the events of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Dave Filoni's upcoming Mandoverse movie. Note, Skeleton Crew was originally expected to be released in the winter of 2023. We were supposed to be watching this show right now, but it was pushed back, leading many to speculate that it will be in the early months of 2024. But that's not really the case anymore, as we've heard that it could be later on. Bad Batch Season 3, the last season of The Bad Batch. The first and only animated TV series to be confirmed for 2024. When did this... I thought this was a very recent article. I think these guys are just wrong about a lot of this stuff. When did this article come out? Published 2 days ago. Tales of the Jedi is confirmed for next year. I don't know if they're... Do they talk about it? Oh, they do talk about it. So what are they talking about? The first and only animated TV series, Star Wars TV release confirmed in 2024 is Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3. The Bad Batch is a spin-off of the Clone Wars, centering on the titular Clone Force 99 as they make their way through the changing galaxy in the light of the Empire's early dominance. The first 2 seasons of The Bad Batch were incredibly well received, leading to the announcement that the third and final season of this show would be released in 2024. At Star Wars Celebration in 2023, a teaser was shown for those in attendance that hinted at the end of The Bad Batch's story. So again, I still think they're all going to line up and get their heads chopped off by Darth Vader, as they don't appear in anything else. But what do you guys think is going to happen at the end of The Bad Batch Season 3? Because The Bad Batch Season 3 is the last season for these characters. Omega, Hunter, Wrecker, all of them. They're not involved in anything else past this show. Does that mean they're all going to die? Or is it going to be something like a Cal Kestis type thing, where they're on Tantalor or hidden somewhere where they can just survive through the original trilogy? Do you think we'll ever see the Bad Batch in something future more down the line? What do we think? The Acolyte, another of the Star Wars live-action TV shows to be released in 2024, which seems to be like a lot of people are most anticipating this show, right? A lot of people's favorite show that they're looking forward to the most is probably The Acolyte. Actually, let's pull this up. We'll end this last poll, which is 60-40. Only 60% of you guys want to... Oh, the math is mathing. Only 60% of you guys want to see Ben Solo again, and 40% of you don't. But let's pull this up now. Which 2024 Star Wars show are you most excited for? I know, Jay, the math is mathing crazy. The Acolyte, actually, we'll go Skeleton Crew first. Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch, Season 3, Bad Batch Season 3, The Acolyte, and Tales of the Jedi, Season 2. All right, you tell me while we read the rest of this. Hang on. All right, The Acolyte. Tony, what's up? Tony says, what a day. Tony is here. We appreciate you, Tony. I appreciate you being here. Another of Star Wars live-action TV shows to be released in 2024 is The Acolyte, created by Leslie Headland, which we don't really like, but The Acolyte will be the first live-action project to take place in the High Republic era, around 100 years before the events of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This series is set to center on the former Jedi Padawan who reunites with her master to investigate a series of crimes, uncovering a much more sinister plot in the progress. The Acolyte placed on the timeline, bringing an entire new cast of Star Wars, including Amandla Steinberg, Lee Zhang Cha, Carrie Ann Moss, Daphne Keane, and returning Star Wars actor Jonas Sotamo. Sure. Jonas is the guy who plays Chewbacca now. He's the new Chewbacca, and he's going to be playing a Jedi Wookiee in The Acolyte. So, with that being said, Acolyte is probably my most anticipated show of next year. I don't know. It's pretty close, but I would say The Acolyte is probably the top of that list. I'm not too sure. But the fact that it's a Sith-centered show, it's involving a brand new it's going to the High Republic. It's actually going to involve the Sith versus the Jedi in a time period where the Sith don't really exist all that much. Could involve Darth Plagueis. Could give a deep dive into what the Sith really are. It could be really, really good. I'm excited. All right, Tales of the Jedi Season 2. At Star Wars Celebration in 2023, it was announced that a second season of Tales of the Jedi would be released in 2024. Tales was a collection of 6 animated shorts in the style of the Clone Wars, and 3 centered around Ahsoka Tano, and 3 on Count Dooku's fall to the dark side. The collection of shorts was incredibly well received, prompting Lucasfilm to place a second batch into production. Well, an exact release date is unclear, as are the subjects of Tales of the Jedi Season 2 episodes. A project release of 2024 was confirmed. So this will come out in 2024, but still, we don't know which 2 Jedi it will focus on, and we don't know at what time of the year that this show will be released either. And I always love to ask you guys this because I love to see your answers. Who would you want the next 2 Jedi of Tales to follow? I always kind of say it would be cool to see either Ben Solo at Luke's Jedi Temple, or like Luke in between Episode 5 and Episode 6, in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. See his training a little bit there. I'd love to see maybe some young Yoda stuff would be cool. Maybe some young Obi-Wan stuff with Qui-Gon would be cool. There's a lot of Anakin in between Episode 1 and 2 that could be explored. There's a lot. There's a lot of characters that they could. Balin, of course. Balin being a new favorite for someone. Yeah, Jay just said Balin and someone. Balin would be a cool one because seeing him as a Jedi would be cool, for sure. So tell me yours, of course. All right. Star Wars movies that are expected to go into production. Well, Star Wars TV shows will largely dominate the live-action releases of 2024. Updates surrounding the upcoming feature films in development are to be expected. At Star Wars Celebration 2023, 3 Star Wars movies were announced. One of these will culminate the New Republic era and be directed by Dave Filoni, while another will be set 15 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker and centered around Rey Palpatine in her attempts to rebuild the Jedi Order. And the third will be directed by James Mangold and focused on the dawn of the Jedi, set 25,000 years before the events of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Since the early 2020s, shortly after the release of Rise of Skywalker, 3 dates have been bookmarked for Lucasfilm Star Wars releases. While it was unclear what stories would fit these dates, May 22nd of 2026, December 18th of 2026, December 17th of 2027 were nevertheless reserved for the studio. Upon the announcement of these 3 upcoming Star Wars films at Star Wars Celebration in 2023, it is expected that these 3 dates will hold Rey's New Jedi Order movie, Dave Filoni's New Republic story, and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi project, respectively. So, although the Taika movie was in progress, that Lando movie is probably in progress, the Sean Levy movie is probably in progress, they won't be anytime soon, because these 3 movies will be first. Given the lengthy production process of Star Wars movies, it is expected that at least one of these projects, most likely the Rey movie, will begin production in 2024. As the year progresses, it is increasingly likely that the production dates of Star Wars upcoming films will be announced. There's no theatrical release. While no theatrical release will come out in 2024, updates on the planned projects for future years will at least be provided. And once these projects kind of get going, we'll get set leaks, photos, and all that other stuff. We'll find out cast members. Like the Rey movie, we'll probably find out pretty quickly if John Boyega is involved. I'm guessing they'll try to kind of get on the good graces of fans and make sure that we know that he's involved. Yeah. Number 4, D23 in 2024 will provide updates on Star Wars various projects. If you guys remember D23 of last year and 2 years ago and 3 years ago, we got a lot of announcements. But this year, there was no D23 for Star Wars. There was no D23, which meant no announcements. Now, this is partially because Star Wars Celebration this year was so big, we got so many announcements at Star Wars Celebration. But next year, there's no Star Wars Celebration. The next Star Wars Celebration is in Japan, and it's in 2025. So next year is only going to have this D23. One of the biggest confirmed events of 2024 is D23. D23 events happen every few years, bringing with them plenty of announcements from the world of Star Wars, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Disney's many other subsidiaries. The most recent D23 took place in 2022, with another confirmed in August of 2024. Great. August is going to be a great month of next year. This event will see major updates provided on all things Disney, including the expected Star Wars projects for the next few years, and are yet to receive official confirmation or release dates. This is going to be big because it will probably confirm Mando Season 4, Ahsoka Season 2, maybe even a Kenobi Season 2 if that's happening, maybe a Book of Boba Fett Season 2 if that's happening, but it will also confirm new shows that we don't even know exist yet. Like I'm sure like Skeleton Crew or Acolyte or even Andor, those shows came to a surprise to us. I'm sure they have a lot of other ones like that in the chamber and ready to announce. So we'll get some surprises at this next D23 as well. One of these projects is The Mandalorian Season 4. The continuation of The Mandalorian story is confirmed, yet it is unclear when the project will be released. Showrunner Jon Favreau confirmed at Star Wars Celebration that the scripts for season 4 were complete, though the writer's strike and actor's strike of 2023 put a halt on production beginning for the show. With that said, the end of the strike means production is expected to start in the early months of 2024. We've heard February. While its release date of 2024 is highly unlikely, I actually think it's 100% not going to happen. D23 provides the perfect opportunity for Lucasfilm to divulge updates of the highly anticipated next entry of the Mandalorian saga. I'm sure you'll see Mando Season 4 in the early parts of 2025. Another unconfirmed story that is expected to feature at D23 is Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka was the final Disney Plus show of 2023 and proved to be vital to the overarching story of the New Republic era. In an interview with Vanity Fair in November, Ahsoka star Rosario Dawson revealed that Dave Filoni is working on an outline for a second season. As much confirmation and more updates are expected in 2024. More likely at D23. So, 3 is the High Republic Phase 3 will continue. Anybody, give me a 1 into the chat if you are reading the High Republic. I have read all of Phase 1. It was a really good story. I just haven't started Phase 2 or Phase 3. One of Star Wars' biggest printed successes over the last few years has been the High Republic series. The first phase of the High Republic began in 2021, while the second took up most of 2022 and 2023, and Phase 3 of the High Republic will officially begin in November of 2023. Though most releases pertaining to this section of Lucasfilm's multimedia story will begin in 2024. The core book, Temptation of the Force, is expected in the summer of 2024, as are other tie-in novels like Defy the Storm, which is March 5th, and Tears of the Nameless in the fall of 2024. So the first book came out in November, and it was, what's the name of that first book from Phase 3? Help me out in the chat if you know. It's something to do with the eye. I forget what it was. But that Phase 3 will continue. Star Wars other canon novels will also continue in 2024. Despite the High Republic dominating the majority of Star Wars print-based stories in recent years, other canon novels will continue to be released. One of them comes in April of 2024, entitled Star Wars The Living Force. Anthony, if you're in the chat, I don't think I've seen Anthony today yet, but Anthony, I know, is looking forward to this one a whole lot. The book is written by John Jackson Miller and takes place a year before The Phantom Menace. The story of the Living Force centers on the Jedi Council reckoning with the changing galaxy, leading to the 12 members of the organization traveling to a distant planet to oversee the decommissioning of the Jedi outpost from the High Republic, only to realize the civilians of the galaxy are threatened more than they first thought. So this book could be really, really cool. It's like the start of the prequel trilogy almost. Yeah. Eye of Darkness, thank you. Yes, Eye of Darkness was the first book of the third phase. And then number 1, of course, is the Star Wars video games in 2024. Finally, the last batch of updates expected for 2024 from Star Wars concerns the expansion of the franchise's video game stories. The only official confirmed video game release for 2024 is Star Wars Outlaws, expected in the winter. What? I thought it was expected in the spring. The game was set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and features an original character of Kay Vess, an outlaw set on conducting a major heist in the Star Wars galaxy. Furthermore, the third entry of Star Wars the Jedi series could also receive an official announcement in 2024. The second entry of Star Wars Jedi Survivor left the story off with room to continue. As reported by VGC, the actor Cameron Monaghan, who played lead character Cal Kestis, confirmed the third installment of the was in development at Oklahoma Comic-Con. Oklahoma? Sure, whatever. Comic-Con. As such, an official announcement can be expected in 2024, along with prospective release dates. If so, Star Wars' exciting future will only continue to grow across all platforms of media, when combined with 2024's other tantalizing announcements from a galaxy far, far away. So, it's not just TV shows. It's not just Disney Plus. From movies to shows to books to comics to video games, all sources of media, Star Wars is going to have a shit ton when it comes to next year. The only one that won't be involved in that is the movies, but we'll get a ton of announcements when it comes to movies, from release dates to set photos to beginning of filming of the Rey movie and other movies, hopefully. We're going to get a lot. Next year is going to be a massive year for Star Wars, way bigger than this year, probably way bigger than last year, and it's just going to keep going from there. Star Wars, and I say a million times, and I've said it a million times this year, and this is probably the last time I will say this year, which is kind of sad. This is the best time to be a Star Wars fan. This is the best time to be a Star Wars fan. You can go back and watch the original trilogy. You can go back and watch the prequels, the Clone Wars, the sequels, whatever you want to do. But now you get to look forward to watching what comes next. We got to watch the Ahsoka show this year. We got to watch the return of Anakin Skywalker with his apprentice in live action. And now we get to look forward to new stuff, a Sith-centered show next year. The Skeleton Crew, the finale of The Bad Batch, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, Mando Season 4, Ahsoka Season 2. Star Wars is going back to the big screen with movies, and the video games are really just getting started. They're really just getting started because EA owned the rights for 10 years, and they almost gave us nothing. So it's going to be an incredible time. It's going to be an incredible time, and I'm so glad that I get to do it with all you guys here. Let's go check the subscriber count, by the way, on this channel. On this channel that we have here. We are currently at 4,699 subscribers. We are one away from 4,700, so hit that subscribe if you haven't yet. But that's crazy. We are only 300 subscribers away from 5,000. That's insane. We hit 2,000 during the Ahsoka show. That was only a few months ago. We've doubled since then. Almost doubled and a half since then. Absolutely insane. We hit 4,000 subscribers a week ago today. A week ago today. We're up 700 subscribers on the week. That's absolutely crazy. I cannot thank you guys enough for hitting that subscribe, supporting the channel. It really, 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 really means a lot. I do appreciate that a shit ton. Now, this stream is not over. By any means is this stream not over. We got a lot of other news to get to today, but I got to catch up on this chat. I've been talking a lot today. I got to take a sip out of this good-ass cup that follows orders. Takes a lot to talk for an hour and 40 minutes. That sounded like a complaint, and I definitely don't want it to sound like that at all, so that was not a complaint. I love it. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Fearless says, I think Omega is going to stay with her sister. That was her sister, right? And the clones. Yes, that was her sister. I hope they don't all die. But it could be possible that they die. Yeah, I mean, and it would be for a good cause. I'm sure it will. I think a lot of the Bad Batch members will die. I think a select few might survive. And Omega is probably one of them. Yeah. Jay says, what if they stay on the planet where there's that big island from season 2? Yeah, what was that planet? Somebody help me out in the chat. What was that planet name? The planet that they go to that looked like Scarif in season 2. Yeah, why not? Why not go there? Just hang out. But there's definitely going to be some death in this final season. Fearless says, in a heroic way, so to speak, maybe we get to know what happened to Cody in this season. Yeah, we could definitely see what happens to Cody in this season. I'd love to see that because the way that they left it in season 2 was weird. It's Me says, will we get a trilogy in the High Republic? That's a good question. I hope so. Just because the story's already there, it's already set up. You don't have to do what you did with the sequels and just create a story. I think there's a good enough story there for multiple trilogies, honestly. But I see them probably going back further first to the Dawn of the Jedi and to the Old Republic before they go to the High Republic. Yeah. Yeah. Ian says, I watched Dial of Destiny on Christmas. I thought it was good overall. Made me more confident about Dawn of the Jedi. Really? Interesting. Interesting, because Dial of Destiny got a lot of crap. I still haven't watched it. But I always loved James Mangold as a director. 100%. I mean, Ford versus Ferrari is one of the, I think, best movies I've seen in recent past. And yeah, I look forward to Dawn of the Jedi a lot. Going back to the beginning of the Jedi is like the coolest thing they could possibly do. Yeah. Yeah. Fearless watched Dial of Destiny 2 and really liked it. Interesting. Officer Murdoch says, looking forward to 2024. Happy New Year's to everyone, every Star Wars fan out there, and greetings from Germany. Another Germany person. Wow, we got so many Germans in this place. Fearless is German too. John Groom says, I can't believe not many people are looking forward to Skeleton Crew. It's at the top of my list. It was at the top of my list. I think Acolyte has probably edged it out. I don't know. It just has. But Skeleton Crew does go under the radar. I think it's going to be a big surprise to a lot of people when they see it. I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns that are going to be pretty surprising. And if Cal Kestis does get introduced into live action in that show, oh my goodness. Jason says, also greetings from Germany. What the hell? What's up with the German people over there? We got a big German fan base on this channel, and not only is it amazing, but I love it. Saria Dyer says, hello, Michelle. What's up, Soraya? How you doing? Friggins, what's up? How we doing? Fearless says, Skeleton Crew and Acolyte, I'm very hyped about. Well, what about the animated shows? John Groom says, I was also pleasantly surprised about Dial of Destiny. Well, maybe I got to go watch Dial of Destiny now because I've heard some pretty bad things. And honestly, it didn't make a lot of money. It was actually a bomb in the box office, and that's why we thought Kathleen Kennedy was going to get fired for a while. But I might have to watch that myself. Might have to go watch it myself. Just out of curiosity, how many Germans do we got in this chat right now? Or not Germans, but people from Germany. Who is currently in Germany right now? All right, let's get into this next stuff. This is from actually more about Star Wars Outlaw. I don't think a lot of people are as excited as they should be when it comes to this game. Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah, so this is a lot of coming from their actual narrative director. And this is more details about the game and the crime syndicates that we could see. Because we talked about possibly seeing Kiara in this. And that would be insane. Seeing the Crimson Dawn would be wild. So, in a new feature publication from... come again? The narrative director of Star Wars Outlaws, Naveed... I'm not even going to try. Naveed spoke about the game's open world exploration, the various crime syndicates, and more on the game's story. Star Wars Outlaws comes from Massive Entertainment. It also comes from EA, I believe. Or no. Who? I think it's EA. Massive Entertainment. The developer responsible... Ubisoft, that's what it was. Ubisoft's The Division series and the recent Avatar Frontier of Pandora. Has anybody played Frontier of Pandora? Because I've seen gameplay of that game, and it kind of looks pretty cool. I'm not the biggest Avatar fan. Haven't seen the second Avatar movie, which is kind of wild because it seems like everybody on this planet saw that movie, but I have not played that game, and it looks pretty cool, actually. Well, Massive Entertainment hasn't shown much of anything new since this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Other additional details from the developers have poured out since then. At Comic-Con, it was revealed that Jabba the Hutt will be in Star Wars Outlaws, and that the main character, Kay Vess, can take on missions for him and even betray him. And while the game is a large open world game, creative director Julian something has said that it will be a manageable game and will not be a 200 to 300 hour epic unfinishable RPG. So it won't be a massive game. It will be finishable, and it won't be 300 hours of gameplay, but it will be your own story. every decision that you make in this game will lead to a different outcome. So if you turn on Jabba or you actually work with Jabba, will have a different outcome, which is going to be pretty damn cool. It's going to be a fun game to stream, that's for sure. And I know we streamed Jedi Survivor earlier on in this year, and that was kind of when the channel was growing, so we got a lot of viewers for that, but I think this one will be even bigger than that game, honestly. It won't have as much hype behind it because Jedi was a sequel, but I think this game will be really, really cool. We watched the gameplay and we watched the trailer for this game, but it is amazing. In the latest interview with Naveed, he was asked exactly what is Star Wars Outlaws' core gameplay loop. Naveed responded by explaining three different types of experience that players will have, all having something to do with exploration. The first of these is dense cities, so that's pretty cool. We're going to get to see a lot of different planets. Having an open world Star Wars game, being able to travel to different planets is going to be pretty cool. I believe the trailer shows us a bunch of different planets. I forget what they are. I know a lot of them are going to be bounty hunter planets. I'm sure Tatooine is one of them if you're working for Jabba, so we'll see. First of these is dense cities, bustling with activity and lively cantinas. You could probably go to the cantina from Mos Eisley on Tatooine, I'm guessing, where you might find criminal syndicates and corrupt Imperials mingling together. Second is our vast, mysterious, and stunning open environments. That is a lot more of what we saw in Jedi Survivor. A lot of open desert and a lot of open world stuff. Jedi Survivor had a feel of open world, but it wasn't really open world at all. Whether on foot or Kay's speeder, and finally space, which players can explore in Kay's ship. So space is a big thing in Star Wars because it's way different than any other open world game than we've seen, except for maybe like Starfield, which I still haven't played. But being able to go into space and fight people in space takes open world to a whole nother level, because now you have open world planets, but also open space to just go around, and you could be attacked by Imperials at any moment in space. Naveed further went on to say that the goal of the game was to provide a seamless experience from vehicle to vehicle. He says that that's all the part of allowing the fans to play intergalactic tourists and to allow them to travel to iconic planets. Iconic planets is pretty big here because you're talking about Tatooine, and maybe you're talking about some other big planets that we've seen, maybe Coruscant. Coruscant's a very tough thing to do in an open world game because Coruscant is so massive and it would be extreme. I think Nar Shaddaa is probably a best bet because it's a bounty hunter planet, so we'll see. One of the core parts of the Scoundrel fantasy is having your own ship, and that's essentially being your home. A lot similar to Jedi Survivor, where the ship is pretty much Cal Kestis' home as well. Outlaws are traveling constantly and need to be on the move at all times. That's no different for Kay. You'll be able to go from on foot to speeder to your own ship and easily jump between planets. Space representing a super lucrative yet very risky experience for any outlaw. If you go off the beaten path, your willingness to explore will bring surprises as well. Interesting. You could run into a blockade from the Empire, you could run into pirates, you could run into anybody. So you could go from taking on a contract to stealing an Imperial ship, but then you get distracted on your speeder and head off into a Tasharos Savannah in search of a artifact, and the game will reward your curiosity. Really, they'll reward your curiosity. So you could go from one thing to the next, but there's always the chance of you getting into trouble. That's kind of the gist of this game. It is called Outlaws Along the way, the main character, Kay Vess, will also run into other fractions and characters that will make life difficult. Naveed further elaborated on these groups and organizations and how players will have personal relationships with them and that will fluctuate depending on their choices. So you can make different relationships with different individuals, crime syndicates, or Imperials that will be different for each player. Players can use quests with each of the syndicates to manage Kay's reputation, so you'll have a reputation around the galaxy. which will impact the jobs they offer and the impact they will have throughout the story. Each player will have a different profile with each of the syndicates based on how they interact with them over the course of her journey. So if you're treating the syndicates and the Empire like shit and you're trying to kill everybody around you, then they're not going to give you much jobs, and whenever you come into contact with them, it's probably going to be a brawl every time, which will make it pretty fun. Honestly, that sounds very cool to me. I wonder if he goes into specific crime syndicates or not. Lastly, Naveed also shared more information on the game setting and the game's setting and how that could affect the story Massive is trying to tell. The game is set in the year between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. The rebels are back on foot, and while everyone is caught up and somewhat distracted by the ongoing civil unrest, there's a vacuum that creates the perfect opportunity for the underworld to rise to power out of sight of Imperial rule. This is actually what George Lucas wanted to do with the sequel trilogy. Have Darth Maul rise to power, in the underworld, and that would have been really, really cool. Well, initial reports suggested the game was targeting an early release of next year. New reports from Ubisoft now suggest that Star Wars Outlaw has been pushed to later in 2024. Even then, however, Star Wars fans do have other games to look forward to with the upcoming Dark Force remaster, which is coming out in February of next year. So, I'm curious. Are you guys excited for Star Wars Outlaws? Are you going to get this game? Are you going to play this game? Because for me, it sounds really fun. Open world Star Wars game sounds incredible. Sign me up 100 times. And I can't wait to play through on this channel, especially because each individual game is going to be different for every person who plays it. How you treat into each crime syndicate or each Imperial officer is going to allow you to have a different story than everybody else around you. But getting to go to iconic places with the amount of cool graphics that we have now, getting to go to Tatooine and all these other places will be very, very cool. Yeah. Let me open up the chat so I can see what we're talking about. Did we hit 4,700? We did. 4,705 subscribers. That's crazy. Awesome. All right, let's see. Where was I? Jay says, it was better than what the critics said 100%. He's talking about Dial of Destiny. Yeah, I'll have to watch it, give it my own opinion, I guess. I've always been a fan of Indiana Jones. I think the fourth one was definitely the worst of the four, and that's kind of why I didn't really want to watch the fifth one, but we'll see. Saria says, Chive says hi. Hello. Fearless says, I am German from Germany, or in Germany. Cool. Me too. A lot of Germans in here. I'll watch the Let's Play. What? Oh, me play? You're going to watch me play? Cool. That's fine with me. Tony says, I guess I got to watch Dial of Destiny tomorrow too. Yeah, sounds like we got to. Anthony says, hi Mike, sorry I'm late. Saw your notification just as I was leaving on the Best Buy Staples run to buy new headphones. Nice. I'm very intrigued by the plot/outline story mode for Star Wars Outlaws. Kay Vess seems like another quality video game introduction character. She and Cal Kestis have to meet. Yeah, I think she's going to be a very cool character, but we could see some crime syndicates overlapping. We could see a lot of what's happening in the comics, from War of the Bounty Hunters to Dr. Aphra stuff, to actually come into this video game. Getting to see Jabba, getting to see possibly Kiara and the Crimson Dawn would be pretty damn cool. Yeah. Fearless says, I already said that. Wargaming says yes, he's definitely playing it. Cool. Raz Roughnecks says, hey Mike, what's going on? Not much. What's going on with you? Friggins says, smash that like, you nerf herders. Yeah, what the fuck? Smash the like button. What are we waiting for? How many likes we got on this? Not enough. Fearless says, would you make Let's Play for Star Wars games on your channel? I don't know what that means. Let's Play? I'll definitely play through the game and stream it if that's what you're asking, because I did that with Jedi Survivor. I'm definitely doing that. Yeah, for sure. Anthony says, regarding your question, I'm equally excited to see Skeleton Crew and the Bad Batch final season. I'm most nervous about the Acolyte. The rumors scoops aren't seemingly promising. Yeah, Acolyte worries me a lot, but it is still my most anticipated for it just being a Sith-centered show taking place 100 years before the prequel trilogy. Like, yeah, that'll be very, very cool. It's just the people in charge of it, like Leslie Headland, that don't give me a lot of hope. Fearless says, I did smash that like button. I appreciate you. And says, oh yeah, I mean gameplay, sorry. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I will definitely play through the game. 100%. Yes. Yes. And wow, this poll has The Bad Batch Season 3 tied for first with The Acolyte. Skeleton Crew is in third with 21%, and Tales of the Jedi with 16 is last. Crazy. All right, I got 2 more news stories before we get on out of here that are very short ones, but are very kind of funny ones. So the first is Star Wars Return of the Jedi has its age rating hiked for violence. Return of the Jedi and Jurassic Park were among the famous films to have their age ratings hiked by film censors in 2023. It has been revealed. The Star Wars Classic was ruled to no longer be suitable for young children due to the scenes of violence, including where Darth Vader's hand is cut off at the wrist. Okay. Also, Santa Claus the movie, supernatural comedy drama Casper, The Addams Family, and School of Rock starring Jack Black saw their classifications raised by the British Board of Film Classification, or the BBFC. At the same time, violent movies such as Enter the Dragon, Raging Bull, and Mean Streets, Friday the 13th, and Gangs of New York saw their age rating relaxed. Really? Researchers found that the BBFC upping the age limit on some family films due to concerns about violence and bad language. So Star Wars is one of these. We'll zoom in on this picture. Return of the Jedi. One of the movies of Star Wars that is supposed to be the ending of Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. The movie where the teddy bears, known as Ewoks, come in and save the day. Return of the Jedi. The happy ending of Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. Too violent for young kids. Yikes. Return of the Jedi. Of all of these movies, Return of the Jedi is the one that you were like, the one where the teddy bears save the day is too violent for little children. That's crazy. It's very funny, but it's crazy. So I'm sure you know the original trilogy and the prequels, except for Revenge of the Sith, are rated PG. Revenge of the Sith is rated PG-13, of course, for obvious reasons. Anakin burns alive, kills little children. It's pretty violent. But the rest are PG. And Return of the Jedi, at least in Britain, was deemed too violent. Yeah. Believe it. Jay says, that's hilarious. I watched that when I was 8 years old, and it had no violence. I mean, there is violence in the movie. It's a Star Wars movie. There's a lightsaber duel. His hand gets chopped off. Palpatine dies. He gets thrown down the reactor, whatever. There is violence in the movie. A bunch of stormtroopers die. There's violence in every Star Wars movie. But the teddy bears. The kids can't watch the teddy bears? Jay says, Attack of the Clones is PG-13, and all the sequels. Attack of the Clones is, too? You sure about that? Let's look it up. Rating of all Star Wars movies. Let's see it. No, not rating like that. How do I... This just shows me, like, the Rotten Tomatoes rating. No, not rating. Rating. How do I phrase this that it'll give me what I want? Not rating. I want. What should I say? Google age rating. There we go. Star Wars age rating guide. Here we go. Oh, this tells you what age you should be to watch all these. Okay. Interesting. It says Revenge of the Sith is the only movie that should be watched after the age of 12 to 15. But let's see if there's a better one than that. Star Wars age guide. I just want what each one's rated. Can I get that, please? Let's see. How many Star Wars movies are rated PG? We'll do that. 5 out of the 6 original Star Wars movies were rated PG. Revenge of the Sith was the first to be rated PG-13. Interesting. Now let's do 13. Nearly every following Star Wars film is rated PG-13 after Revenge of the Sith, making the final prequel film to set the standard. So all the sequels were rated PG-13, and so were the spin-offs of Solo and Rogue One. That's interesting. That's interesting. Roz Roughneck says, that's friggin' laughable. A movie about warring teddy bears is so scary to the panty waist generation. What? I don't know what that refers to, but yes. Anthony says, question. Since Dave Filoni has had absolutely no hand in the High Republic media, or multimedia, what happens if Dave Filoni sees the series and says, what is this? Will he be able to fix that? I think he might have been involved in the High Republic from the beginning. Salty changed his name? That's weird. That's throwing me off completely. I don't like that. Salty, change your name back. Salty, change your name back immediately. But to answer your question, no, Dave Filoni, I'm sure, is okay with that. I think he's known about the High Republic for quite a long time now. And the story there is good, so we'll see. Jay says, that's hilarious. I watched that when he was... Oh, I already read that. Friggin says, it's brutal. Those teddy bears tried to eat our heroes, and they ate the stormtroopers. That's true. That is true. Meanwhile, I'm strongly hoping that the glove of Darth Vader EU tale comes a canon aspect of the Mandoverse, along with the prophets of the dark side. I don't really know what you're referring to, but yes. No, Attack is PG. Yeah, that's what I thought. Attack of the Clones is PG. Every Star Wars movie after 2000 is PG-13. No. Attack is still PG. Attack of the Clones has a beheading? What? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it does. Jango Fett. Duh. Yeah. No, you're right. It does. But it's still PG. Salty Texas Ranger says, the news made a huge deal about Revenge of the Sith being PG-13. Yeah, it did. Yeah. John Groom says, the UK has been a bit pathetic at times. They renamed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles for the animated series. What? That's stupid. That's stupid. All right, and the last news story of the day, which I think is even funnier, is Lucasfilm sets their sights on somebody important. Lucasfilm sues Star Wash, a Chilean Star Wars-themed car wash. Oh my God. Doesn't get much better than this. I think I saved the best two stories for last today. All right, let's read this. This is quite funny. Walt Disney production company Lucasfilm is suing a themed car wash on the outskirts of Chilean's capital, Santiago, for plagiarizing its multi-billion-dollar galactic film and television saga, Star Wars. Lawyers for the car wash said Star Wars has shared videos on social media showing attendants dressed as Star Wars characters, such as Chewbacca or a stormtrooper wiping down hoods. Bounty hunter Boba Fett and hero Cassian Andor wielding hose pipers, yeah, sure, instead of blasters, and Darth Vader appearing to use the Force to summon cleaning cloths. The law firm representing the car wash said that while owner Matthijs Jara was in the process of registering his brand with Chilean patent authorities, INAPI, he realized the lawsuit for the franchise creator Lucasfilm, or he received the lawsuit. Jara's lawyers said that the U.S. movie production firm wanted to block the registration of the name and argued that the brand could be confused as being affiliated with them. It has not raised issues with the attendance, they said. So this is a look at the car wash. It's Kylo Ren, of course, and it's just a car wash that's Star Wars themed. Lucasfilm did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Jara is contesting the suit, according to his lawyers, who argued that the name is sufficiently different from the movie franchise to avoid confusion, and that the production company's copyright will cover the production such as covering products such as toys, furniture, and non-alcoholic drinks, does not extend to cleaning cars. Of course, this lawsuit is affecting us. We are a small business, and we're spending on things that we hadn't budgeted for, Jara says. Of course, they're not budgeting for a lawsuit from Lucasfilm. He said that his young daughter had thought of the wordplay while on a family trip to a Disney theme park in the United States, and that featured a Star Wars area. Of course, probably Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We don't make movies or sell their products or anything like that, Jara added, noting that his business was, however, a stellar car wash. So it's a car wash themed Star Wars, of course, Star Wash, and people are dressed up as Star Wars characters, and they're washing your car. And Lucasfilm is suing them. It's like a small business in Chile, the country of Chile. It's not hurting anyone. It's not stealing money from Disney. They're not selling Disney products. They're washing cars. Okay, let's see what you guys think about this. Salty Texas Ranger says, Star Wash, LOL. Yeah. Jay says, damn, Disney's greedy. Okay, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company right now, going after a tiny little family-made car wash. I get it. They're copying Star Wars. Who cares? Who cares? Really, though, who cares? It's a car wash. A car wash. Okay, let's see. Anthony says, well, Filoni wrote none of the publishing content and has no connection to the animated Young Jedi Adventures series and has no involvement in the High Republic aspects of the Jedi Survivor. That's true. He is not. But that stuff is good. So, we're not complaining. Salty says, that would be awesome if Lucasfilm made real car washes places in the United States. Imagine they stole the idea and made it a chain across the United States. How funny would that be if they did that? That'd be amazing. I would get my car washed there. So would I. So would I. I might move to Chile just to get my car washed there. Anthony says, I heard about this story yesterday. I think Disney/Lucasfilm is just jealous that the car wash is doing better than their Galactic Star Cruiser. Yeah, I think it is. I think that's exactly what it is. The Chewbacca there is awesome looking. What do you mean? Did we even see the Chewbacca there? That's Kylo Ren. It's just too funny. Lucasfilm, the multi-billion-dollar company, is going after a small car wash in Chile. Yikes. Ah, yes. Young Jedi Adventures. The PJ mask of Star Wars with no. Oh, okay, no. Never mind. Sure. All right. I think that's all I got for today. We went for 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is crazy. What are we up to now for subscribers? 4,707 subscribers. Can we get 300 subscribers in the next 24 hours before the new year? I doubt it. But we made a valiant effort, and I appreciate all you guys for hitting that subscribe, showing up for today's live stream and all that stuff. This was an incredible year. An absolutely incredible year. I cannot emphasize that enough. This was amazing. Quite a year for the channel, quite a year for Star Wars, quite a year for all of us here in this people who love Star Wars community. I cannot thank you guys enough for sticking around with me for this year of Star Wars content. If you're new to the channel, if you're old to the channel, I don't care. Welcome. And I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to smash a like on this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. Don't forget to do all that stuff. Hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. See you next year. Yes, Wargaming. We will see you next year. Watch out for a short today at 5 o'clock. Short probably tomorrow around 4 or 5 o'clock. And yeah, we'll be back and better than ever for next year. I will have this stream deck set up finally for next stream. I promise. Still not set up, but it will be cool. We'll have a bunch of different automated stuff going on there for hopefully Tuesday's stream. We'll see. See you in the next year. Hang on, let me catch up on some of these chats before we get out of here. Abba the Hutt oil change and lube. Yeah. Jabba the Hutt oil change and lube. Anthony says, actually, I thoroughly enjoyed Young Jedi Adventure. Loved the animation and world building of the main 3 Jedi. Now the redhead has 2 mothers? Not a fan? What? I'm confused. I haven't watched the show yet, so I can't tell you, but it looks a little too kiddie for me. Just my thing, though. Dr. Ratty Ross says, have a great new year, and may the force be with you. Right back at you. Fearless says, have a happy New Year's tomorrow, too. You right back at all you guys. Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you have a good, safe night tomorrow night, and we'll celebrate together. Count it down, like we're do it all together. If you guys aren't in the Discord yet, join the Discord. We'll celebrate in there as well. Yeah. And may the force be with you. Always. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your year, a great rest of your lives, and I'll see you guys next year. May the force be with you all. And good night, everybody.